we struggle and fight for and are allied with a lot of the people who are here at the Social Care Forum struggling for justice for the environment, against racism, for LGBT rights, for women's rights, for workers' rights, and so forth. The difference between us and maybe a lot of the workshops that are going on here is that what we want to talk about today is why we think those struggles are linked and why we feel like we need to unite those forces and that they're part of a systemic struggle and not just a bunch of different problems that exist in our society. Why youth particularly who see these struggles and are struggling every day against their incredible debt and student loans, struggling to find a job in this horrible economic environment, struggling against racism, struggling against sexism, struggling against being forced to fight in two illegal wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Why youth need ideological perspective that shows us that there's an alternative to this system that is the root of all these problems. That we don't have to just take on one struggle at a time, that in fact, that we can struggle and win and beat this entire system. We wanted to just give you, our perspective on that and why we feel like, a perspective for you is important when we're taking on all the different fights that we're involved with on our campuses and our workplaces and so forth in the streets. And we have several youth here that are part of our organization that are going to speak to some of these issues. To my left is Rocky Devasgali, who is a part of Raleigh FIST. And this is Scott Williams, also from Raleigh, and Jen Waller, who's a part of the New York chapter of FIST. And they're all going to share with you some of their thoughts. Rocky's going to start out by telling you a little bit about the struggles that her group is taking on in Raleigh, North Carolina, and we'll give you a little bit of a perspective about, where we see the struggle of youth in the current period, so I'm going to let Juan take it.
Hello, how's everybody doing? All right. Good. Like Julie said, I'm from Raleigh, I'm from Chapel Hill, North Carolina, but we've been working in Raleigh a lot around, right now in Wake County, a newly elected school board majority is trying to resegregate the public schools. They're not calling it that, they're calling it community schools, neighborhood schools, the same rhetoric that's been used for decades to do this kind of thing. And I thought that I would talk a little bit about what we've been facing there, and then, talk about how it would be different if we were living in a socialist world, or if we were able to, push for that more, because and how things would be a lot better for people. So right now, they, I guess last year, they elected, 4 new people to the school board of 9 people. So now they have a 5-person majority of a block that always votes together and always to dismantle this diversity policy that they've had that, isn't great and isn't like the best thing, and the schools aren't the best, but they are nationally recognized and they are like on a track to get over the racist, segregated history that we've had in North Carolina and in the South and in the whole country. And so, there's a busing policy where students are bused for diversity. The inner city schools and the suburban schools, the districts were joined together to create one big school district. And so, within that, students are bused for socioeconomic diversity, which has been proven in lots of different ways to help for, school achievement and stuff like that. And so right now, there's groups like the John H. Bill Foundation and the Civitas Institute in North Carolina, who the people on the board of that, so Art Pope has been one of the main people who've been targeting in North Carolina because he is the head of the Pope Institute that was one of the top funders of these 4 people that were elected, and also he's on the national board of the Americans for Prosperity, which is one of the main groups funding the Tea Parties across the country. And so that just kind of shows their politics right there. And so since these people have come into office, this is like a 30-year-old policy that has been in place, the diversity policy. And people in Wake County sort of got used to that, okay, that's fine. Like, we're used to that, but now it's like work on, making our schools even better. And so people didn't go out and vote and whatever. And so they were able to put all these people in the office when only like 4% of the constituents in North Carolina voting, or in Wayne County voting. And so basically now they're resegregating the schools, and what's happening now is that the teachers and the principals, the people at high schools are being told not to talk about what's going on and not to talk about how it's going to impact their students. And the students are being told that they're going to get in trouble if they, try and leave school or if they try and do different things. And so we've been organizing a student institute in Wayne County, basically to get the students that have kind of risen to the surface as leaders in their high schools, kind of more tools to be activists and to fight back against this in a better way. But, just the way that this kind of came to be, is a result of capitalism, is the result of the capitalist stronghold, and even in our public education, even in the fact that everyone should, and because of a lot of historic fights in our country have had the right to public education, it's not now it's like being taken away, so you don't have a right to a decent public education because if you have high poverty schools, teachers leave, a lot of bad things happen. People don't get the education they deserve, and so right now some of the people, like the chair of the board right now, named Ron Margiotto, is actually also on the chair of a private school in Wayne County, and so like a set of private schools. And so by effectively dismantling the public school system in Wayne County, they're literally putting money in their own pockets. Because what they've been doing in other places around the country, and what they plan on doing here, is to make the public school system so bad by resegregating, so that there's high poverty schools, and then by saying like, okay, well your school's really bad, but that's okay, we'll give you vouchers so you can come to our private school. So basically, the public money that should be going to public education, that should be accountable to the public, is going to vouchers and then going to unaccountable private schools and going directly into these people's pockets. And so, there's a committee on student achievement that's part of the school board that, since the school board has been elected, almost a year ago now, hasn't met once. And they're supposed to be meeting all the time, and the school board keeps talking about how this is going to improve achievement, and community schools are so good for everything, whatever. But the committee hasn't met once. In a socialist world, hopefully it would be about human need and human benefit, and hopefully it would be that okay, we want students to go to school because they deserve an education, but also because they deserve a good education, they deserve the best education. And we know that it's not because the students are black or white or whatever, or poor, or whatever it is that they're doing badly, it's that they're being deprived of all these resources, If they have school lunches or breakfast, like the Black Panther Party instituted a long time ago, all these kind of things that make it possible for students to concentrate in school, make it possible for students to achieve, then they will. And right now with the capitalist running things and doing everything to make a profit and make a huge profit out of things that people don't have a basic education, basic books. They're getting old books from the other schools or whatever it is, and people are making so much money off of it. It's just sick, and it's just when if people want to be able to dream of getting out of their present situation and be able to fight with each other and not with each other, struggle together and meet people from across the district and be able to do these things, they can't be kept in their own little areas without any resources. And it's not necessarily that we're fighting for, that the schools have to be integrated and that integration is the key, but, that